On the air, hi.
Hello, Arthur.
Hello.
And thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure, thanks for making it. Where are you?
I am west of the Rockies. My name is Jonathan, and I do not know how much time I have. So if I hang up the phone, please do not take it personally.
Okay, I'll treat it that way. None of us know how much time we have, Jonathan.
Well, unfortunately, I used to work for black government agencies.
Oh?
I was recruited. I was brought forward by some men in black. They approached me.
MIBs?
Yes. Unfortunately, at the moment, I did not think that they were trying to recruit me, and I fled from them.
Jonathan, what kind of work were you doing for our government?
It was very interesting work, to say the least. My apprenticeship lasted for approximately 6 months. In my apprenticeship, I was with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
After my apprenticeship, I was working alone. We were doing wet work, but mostly it has to deal with covering up the government's sins. The government cannot be wrong.
That
the
is...
government will not be wrong. The government shall not be wrong.
And if the government is in danger of being shown to be wrong, then there is wet work.
There is wet work. There is also deals made with other countries, technology exchanged. There's a lot of things that are going on that the general populace does not know about, nor will they probably ever.
Should they?
Most interesting part of my story, though, Arthur.
Jonathan, should they know about it? The American public?
I believe they should.
Okay. The most interesting part of your story?
When I was running from the men in black, I ran into another group of individuals who assisted me. Before I became an agent, I was made a child of Cain. Cain was, of course, the biblical slayer of his brother Abel. Cain was cursed by God to walk the earth forever and to repeat his sin, which was of blood. Cain was the first vampire. I was embraced by Cain and made into a vampire.
You are a vampire?
Yes. And I inadvertently started a war.
You'd be the ideal candidate for wet work, then.
Well, vampires are not the evil creatures that they are made out to be true.
Well, that, of course, depends on your perspective. Somebody with a couple of big marks on the neck and -3 quarts might not feel that way.
Well, vampires only take a small amount from each person. We make it as swift and as painless as possible, and we erase the memory from the person so that they are not traumatized.
Yes, but I have also heard that after 2 or 3 visits for continued withdrawals, we'll put it that way, that the person involved themselves becomes a vampire.
No. In order to become a vampire, you must be brought to the point of death by your blood being drained from your body. You must then ingest the blood of a vampire.
Well, I know, but when you discussed wet work that you had done, exactly what did you mean, if not that?
Wet work... Wet work done by black government agents is...
killing.
It is the meanest, the nastiest thing that you can possibly imagine.
On the other hand, when a vampire does a little bit of wet work, it's not so bad, huh?
Mostly vampires, when they must do wet work, they must do it against other vampires. Unfortunately, when I left the black government agents due to conflicts of interest, I inadvertently started a war between the vampire community and the black government agents.
Now, that would be worth the price of admission.
Unfortunately, since neither group of individuals wish to be out in the open, Very little is known about this, and it is a tragedy because my brothers and sisters are engaged in a war that quite possibly they will not win.
So on the one side we have vampires, on the other side we have men in black.
Vampires have done a lot of good for this world.
Both doing their various... Well, look, I'm not here to diss any vampires. I'm just simply considering the prospect here. So you've got the men in black, you've got the vampires. The men in black doing full wet work, the vampires doing partial wet work. Who's winning?
Well, right now, it's not too good for the home team, I'll put it that way.
The vampire side.
Yes. Vampires will not create other vampires unless the person is willing.
But it would seem to me, if
you're willing, the person has to know what it is to be a vampire.
In other words, you've got to actually volunteer to be a vampire.
Yes, we will not create a vampire involuntarily. That would be a grave injustice to the person. And a lot of people believe that you drive a wooden stake through a vampire's heart, it'll kill it. Sunlight burns a vampire. All of these are nothing but myths and legends that have been passed down through the generations.
You mean to say if I were to drive a wooden stake through your heart, you wouldn't die?
No. Basically, that
would disturb me a lot.
Basically, what will happen, you will take a wooden stake, you will thrust it into my heart, you will think it's over, you will relax, and then you will be turned into dog meat by a vampire who has a pointy stick in his chest.
Well, what about the old silver bullet thing? I had heard that silver bullets would take you out. No?
No. Crosses, crucifix, garlic.
Yeah, garlic. No?
Now, granted, a vampire can die if enough damage is done to the body.
How? I mean, what has to be done? Or is this information you don't want public?
Oh, it can be made public.
Okay, let's hear it.
If a vampire loses enough blood, then that vampire will die if a vampire cannot feed and heal himself. Basically what happens is a loss of a virus that is infected into the vampire upon creation. The virus basically alters the vampire's DNA.
Okay.
Therefore affecting the genetic codes for aging, for healing, and also for an altered body form. It also alters other DNA sequences, however they are random and we do not exactly know what they are for. However, the virus actually keeps the vampire alive. If enough of blood is lost and therefore the virus is missing from the body,
yes,
the vampire will die.
The vampire will die.
However, a vampire can be brought back, but it is a very exhausting process. But
the whole thing sounds exhausting. Listen, we're running out of time.
And unfortunately, it looks like my time is currently over too, Arthur. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.